Everybody, and welcome to LGB Talks. This week we are discussing labels. Labels is a very broad topic, so I'm just going to cover a few key points on it. Labels are words that people use to identify things and themselves and each other. There are ignorant people in this world who use derogative labels, and unfortunately, as long as there are ignorant people, there are going to be derogative labels, so that's just something that we're going to have to learn to move past. I think that most labels that people use are based on facts or what they perceive as facts about you and their personal opinion on you. So you can really only take labels that people give you with a grain of salt. I think it is important to understand that labels have the power that you give them. If somebody's trying to get under your skin with a derogative label, don't let them see that they're getting under your skin, and they'll eventually stop trying to label you in derogative ways. Sometimes people label you because they don't know you very well and just label you as the first couple things that they saw of you. Take that with a grain of salt, move past it. Labels have the power that you give them. Don't let them define you. Don't let them make you reevaluate yourself. You're like, oh, am I actually a preppy person? Just, know who you are. And you might want to sit down and think about different kinds of labels and what you're okay with being labeled as, so that when people label you a certain way, you know that it's a label that you're comfortable with. I think it is important to understand labels, like the meaning of labels and those types of things, so that we know how to use them. Because I think everybody uses labels. Everybody's labeled themselves or other people. So it is important to understand labels, to know that you're using them correctly. And it is important to understand that there are always going to be ignorant people in this world, whether they're doing it on purpose or not, that are going to be using labels wrong. Don't ever let labels define you. Label yourself if you'd like, so that you know where you stand. And don't let what other people label you as define you. When people use derogative labels or labels that kind of fit you, but you don't like them very well, own it. I've been called a crazy bitch, and at first I was very offended by it until I realized I am. So I'm okay with being called that. And I've been called that by friends in a funny way. I've been called that by enemies in a derogative way. And because I'm like, yeah, I know, they're just like, oh. And I haven't heard that label much anymore. Maybe because people already know that I am that. So when it comes to labels, it is good to understand the labels that we are using and the labels that we are being given. It is important to understand that labels are often based off of people's opinions, so don't let them define you. And that's pretty much all I have on labels right now, since it's such a broad term. Just try to be understanding and know when to move past when people label you in ways that you don't like, and understand that they're their personal opinions, and that as long as they're ignorant people, they're going to be derogative terms. And all you can do is be a big person and accept them, or move past them, or own them, whether they are really your label or not. When you own something and people are just trying to be mean about it, they kind of end up being the ones with their foot in their mouth. So that's really all I have to say this week, and I guess I'll see you next week.